right, it's Wednesday already. Welcome back to Student of the Gun Radio, all you students of the gun out there. And if you're new to the show, welcome. And let me clue you in. If you're new to the show, maybe you just listened yesterday, you saw the title SHOT Show Debrief, and you're like, oh, that'll be fun, that'll be interesting. You have no idea what you're in for, do they, Jared?
No, I would assume that they do not have any idea.
No, they don't have any idea what
your
they're
mind
in for.
Is going to be blown at
least
1 point.
I don't even know if I said, hey, this is who I am. But what's funny is you say, well, everyone already knows who you are. Well, not everybody does. Even Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and you name it, even they, when they intro their shows, they say, welcome back. I'm whoever they happen to be. So welcome back. I am Paul Markle, host of Student of the Gun Radio and Television and all that good jazz. And on the other side of the glass, on the outside of the glass case of emotion, because I have to be on the inside of the glass case.
He has to be contained.
I have to be contained on the inside. On the outside is Jared, my producer, the man with the plan, and obviously the roving reporter on the scene. And what we're going to do for today's episode is we're going to pick up kind of where we left off yesterday. We left off, we talked about Duracoat and DuraBlue, and we were going in alphabetical order so as not to seem that we were slighting anyone. And the next person or company that we're going to talk about starts with an F. We don't have any E sponsors now, so we're going to talk about an F sponsor, and that would be Frog Lube. Now, Frog Lube is that stuff, it's that green stuff that's a non-petroleum-based lubricant. It is CLP. And you guys are like, well, no, CLP is break free. Like, here's the deal. CLP is essentially, it's just an acronym for Cleaner Lubricant and Protectant.
It's a TLA.
It's a TLA. That's right. It's a three-letter acronym, and it's what the military uses for their gun lube. CLP, actually, the CLP that the military uses is made by a couple of different sources. But CLP, Frog Lube CLP, is a non-petroleum-based product. It's the fishizzle. It really is. It's green. It smells minty. You put it on your guns, and it makes them run really well. You put it inside your suppressors, and it acts as a suppressor media to reduce the noise and keep your suppressors clean. And it does lots of stuff. And Jared spent a little bit of time talking to our buddy Larry Lasky, who is a retired frogman. And you got to introduce our buddy Larry, who is an older frogman, to a younger frogman, and tell us about that.
Yeah, so I'm going to start at the beginning here. I was going to Frog Lube's booth to meet up with Larry and Stacy, and Stacy's Larry's wife. And I walked through the door, and I was looking for Frog Lube's booth, and I said, I think I know where it is. Because Alex is behind me, and she was going to walk forward, and I smelled the green minty smell. I was like, that has to be Frog Lube. So I turned left, and there it was.
There it was.
So the smell led me to the booth. And I was standing there talking to Larry, and my buddy Mookie, Ben Mookie Thomas, walked up. If you guys don't know who that is, look him up on Facebook and YouTube. He's got some pretty good stuff on there. He walked up and he tapped me on the back and he gave Alex some chocolate, and I looked at him and I was like, oh, and I said, do you guys know each other? And they didn't, so I introduced them, and they got along great because they're both frogmen,
Right. They were actually on the same team at different times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Larry's an older frogman, and Mookie's is he's not super young, but he is a younger. He's like a second generation frogman or what have you. So that is very cool. Now.
One thing that I want to make, Larry said, we're not a gun lube, we're a performance product. He said what Frog Lube does is he helps the gun perform like it is supposed to, like it was meant to perform. So I thought that was pretty cool. Performance product.
Rock
and
on.
It doesn't only work for guns. He said that people were applying it to helmets and pretty much anything that is a simple machine and needs lube. You put it on there and it works.
And you can Frog Lube your sword if you need to do that.
Yeah, if you want to Frog Lube your sword,
If your sword
people do that.
High carbon steel, like our machetes, like our Gladius, and a high carbon steel is going to rust.
Yeah.
So you need to put some kind of lubricant on it.
Yep.
So I have been known to lube my sword once in a while. So there's Frog Lube, and it's a green minty smell. Now, you introduced him to Ben Mookie Thomas. Now, Ben Mookie Thomas has something else going on. He's got lots of stuff going on.
DynamiteJones.com.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go to DynamiteJones.com. Mookie is starting a company called Dynamite Jones.
He already started it.
Yeah, he already started it, but he's in the process of getting more products made. He's already got a couple things on there. Go over there, support Mookie. He's a good dude. He's part of the gun culture, not the gun community. Or,
Yes.
So, do that. Go to DynamiteJones.com, and I just made a decision that we're going to have Mookie on with us on the radio.
Well, we need to do that.
I don't know. I think that we're going to probably have to put him on the bonus hour on the grad program because...
No, you're just going to have a conversation with Mookie and tell him to clean up his salty sailor language.
Maybe we'll do both. We'll do one for the public and one for the bonus because he's got some cool stories.
He's got some cool stories that are definitely rated R.
Yeah.
Because he's a pirate. R.
Yeah.
All right. So
DynamiteJones.com. Go buy something.
DynamiteJones.com. They only have a couple things right now, but they are expanding, and I hear they're going to have an Easter Bunny of Death patch very soon.
Yes.
That is the rumor. All right, let's talk about Keltec.
Keltec
from Florida.
Keltec. Okay, so they've got, I don't know if you guys have heard of the CMR 30. They've been teasing you for a long time with that. That is shipping now. They are shipping it now. So go to KeltecWeapons.com. You can get more information on that, but you can go to a local dealer and actually order the CMR 30.
The CMR 30 is basically the carbine version of the PMR 30.
Yeah, they took the
Same
pistol and they
right?
stuck it inside of an enclosure that has a long barrel and a
They
stock.
built the pistol into a carbine.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yes. And it uses the same 30-round magazines. And it's used a 22 Win Mag cartridge.
And they've actually expanded more so that they can keep up with production. You know how they were behind on the KSG for a while. I believe they've got a facility specifically for the KSG now.
KSGs are out there. All you guys have been crying for years about, that's great, but I can't find one. Well, they're out there. So you've been crying about it for 2 or 3 years saying, I'd buy one if I could find them. Well, guess what? They're there. I know Cooks has them. I know,
I know we have them.
Dad Super Pawn has them. I was somewhere else, not here. Where the heck was I? I was in a gun shop, and they had them on the shelf. So the KSGs are out there. So quit your crying. If you want one, go buy one, and you won't regret it. What else? How about that 5.56 rifle, the 5.56 bullpup? What's the story with that turkey? Is that turkey?
He didn't talk about that much. We talked about that last year.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still
shipping?
Yeah, it's shipping. It's still
shipping.
New.
Because when we talked about it last year, it wasn't going to be available until Q4 of 2014, which was just a few months ago.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Wow, that was. Wow.
Yeah, it was just a few months.
Long year.
Long year.
I feel like I just spent a whole year in Vegas, really.
Mm-hmm. That's because you're just, partying with your friends, dude, right?
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens.
That's one thing I told Alex. I said, now if you don't go with me to SHOT Show ever again, you can't say, you're just going to Vegas to party.
Yeah, that's what Mrs. Markle used to think. She's like, I don't know what you say. It's all this work. You just go out there and hang out with your friends for a week and talk and drink beer and swap stories. Yeah, there are people, I'm sure, that do that. But if you actually
have a job and you need to make money off of what you do, then you do other stuff.
Yeah. It's very difficult, actually, to get everything that you need to accomplish done in SHOT Show because it is such a monster and has grown to the point where it's actually you want to know the truth about SHOT Show? I'm going to tell you the truth because that's what I'm all about. And last time I checked, this is my show. SHOT Show is way too big.
Yeah, I saw probably less than 50% of the floor.
It's way too big. It has grown to the point, and it has way too many attendees. And all of you guys out there on Facebook and mostly Facebook, but they're like, well, I wish I could go to SHOT Show. No, you don't. No, you don't. The only reason you want to go to SHOT Show is so that you can tell your friends that you went to SHOT Show and you can be one of the cool guys and you can post pictures from there. If you are not a dealer, if you're not a manufacturer, if you're not a wholesaler, If you don't have a shop that sells guns, if you don't build guns, and if you're not a bona fide member of the media, you don't need to go to SHOT because it's not a gun show. You don't go there. It's not your local gun show on roids where you go and you're like, oh, dude, I'm going to pick up a new shotgun. I'm going to pick up this. You don't pick up anything at SHOT Show unless you're a distributor, a dealer, a wholesaler, a retailer. Then you go there and you place orders. They write orders there. And if you own Bob's Gun and Pawn in Provo, Utah, you go there to figure out what you're going to stock your store with during the next year. That's the point of the SHOT Show. Unfortunately, the SHOT Show has devolved into this, wannabe cool guy fest, where they give out thousands and thousands of these, quote, friends of the show or friends of the industry passes, and it's just people who go onto the floor so they can take their pictures in the Smith & Wesson booth or whatever and put them up on Facebook, and they're tire kickers. That's all they are.
They're people that get in the way.
And you're like, shut up. I've been doing this for 20-some years. I know of which I speak. You can't buy anything there. If you're not a retailer, a gun dealer, if you're just a person who thinks guns are cool, whatever, go to the NRA annual meeting. That is an open-to-the-public show. Well, it's open to the public if you're a member of the NRA. Become a member of the NRA, you can go to the show, okay? The NRA show is the one that's designed and set up to be open to the public. And almost not everyone, but the majority of the people that have booths at SHOT also show at NRA. All the big manufacturers, all the Smith & Wessons and Remingtons and Mossbergs and SIGs and Kel-Tecs and you name it. They're all at the NRA show, and it's an open-to-the-public show. Let me tell you what, folks. It is harder and harder to do what you need to do because you walk into the Ruger booth and you can't even walk across the booth because it's filled with tire kickers. People that aren't there writing orders, they're not there, setting up wholesaler dealer deals or whatever. They're there browsing.
SHOT Show is for business. NRA is for consumers.
Yes. SHOT Show was started, it was founded, and it's still on the books traditional as a trade show, as an industry trade show. And all of you guys who are like all pissed because you can't go to SHOT Show, you don't need to go to SHOT Show. Go to NRA in Nashville this year. That's what you need to do. And that's why, and we joked about it during the show yesterday about Media Day at the Range. Media Day at the Range has become this goat rope. It has become a zoo. We stopped going about 3 years ago because the last time I went to Media Day at the Range, some Italian chick who was supposedly a member of the media or something like that, some Italian chick got on the range, she fired like 2 rounds from a gun. She was so excited she turned around and flagged like 50 people with a loaded pistol. This is, and SHOT Show, unfortunately, is where all of these, all the slaves.
One of those 50 people was me.
Oh yeah, and me. And so you have your Japanese slaves, you have your European slaves, people that can't actually own guns, or if they own them, they have to keep them locked in a safe at the gun club, and they call it theirs, but really they're just leasing it. People that are not free, and they come to America so they can then hang out and look at. And Jared, how many thousands of guns have we had pointed at us on the SHOT Show floor by Japanese tourists and Europeans and so forth because they don't really have guns, they don't carry guns, they don't use them outside of the hunting field or the very, very sterilized range.
But it's okay, they're not loaded.
Oh, that's right. It's not. Yeah, that's okay. They're not loaded. It's ridiculous. So the SHOT Show is supposed to be an industry trade show. It's supposed to be kind of like the auto show where the manufacturers bring out their new stuff to show to the wholesalers and the retailers, and they write orders, they set stuff up, and they display it to the press. It's gotten out of hand, and it gets worse and worse every year. It really does. And unfortunately, it's become it's almost overwhelming. And even though you spend an entire week there, you get back or you get to the end of the week and you realized that you didn't get anywhere near what you should have had done. Jared, when I was going to the SHOT Show in the early 2000s, like 1s and 2s and 3s and so forth, I would get to Friday and I would find Friday was my relaxing day, because generally by the time I got to Friday, I had talked to all the people that I needed to talk to. I'd gone all the way through, completely through the entire floor, and Friday was just kind of a casual makeup day in case I missed somebody or something, but it was a very relaxing day.
I think now, Friday was like the busiest day that we had, because I was trying to run around and catch up with people that I didn't see yet.
And you're like, Friday now is a panic day. Like, we're running out of time, and there's 10 more people that I need to talk to. And, of course, it used to be at the Las Vegas Convention Center, which was, quite frankly, a much better venue for it than it is right now. So, folks, I mean, I know that you think it's a super cool deal, and maybe it is, like if you go one time or what have you. But if you go 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 times, it gets really tiresome when you need to go into a booth and you need to talk to somebody, and you can't even get through the booth because people are just standing around gawking. You can't get through the aisles because people are just standing around talking in the aisles.
Yeah, I'm not to the point where I dislike it, because I get to see so many people that I don't get to see throughout the rest of the year.
But it's like Mookie, and Mookie said, and he was talking today, there was a tragedy in the industry.
Yeah.
Yesterday. But he said that he went there he saw all these people and met all these new people, but didn't get to talk to any of his friends. And long time ago, I said to somebody, I don't remember who it was Tom Gresham or somebody, I said that SHOT Show is the place you go to wave at all of your friends.
Yeah.
You wave and nod, wave and nod, wave and nod, because you don't even have time to talk to them. You physically see your friends and acquaintances. You're like, oh, there you are. Hey,
yeah.
I'll catch up with you. Talking here, going there, what have you. So it's not even a place that you go and really have time to spend with your friends. Like I said, if you guys are out there in the listening audience, you're like, man, I want to see the new Gee Whiz What's-Its, go to NRA. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's in Nashville this year. Next year it's going to be in Louisville. Do you know that?
Next year it's going to be in Louisville?
This year it's in Nashville. Next year it's in Louisville.
So this year, obviously, are you plan on going? You don't have another business trip to take?
No.
Okay, so we'll both be at NRA this year, and we want to meet up with some of you. So I don't know if we're going to come up with a meeting place, that we're going to have like a meet and greet.
Well, I think we're all going to meet in the EOTech booth, and they're going to buy everyone beer.
Okay. So EOTech, we all meet in the EOTech booth, and they're going to buy everybody beer. I'll let them know that's what's going to happen. You tell them
when you get there that.
Yeah. Student of the Gun said that they were going to buy a beer. Just let them know, and then that way they'll have it by the time we get there.
All right, I get.
So we did everybody up to Kel-Tec. Who's after that?
Excess sites, SWAT fuel, excess sites.
SWAT fuel. Let's do SWAT fuel. I already kind of touched on that, but I'll go over it again because it's in alphabetical order. SWAT fuel 45 ACP. That's going to be his new hydration formula. So stay tuned for all of that. I sat down with Dan while we were there, and we did several interviews. He did some of me, and I did some of him, and there's some really good stuff that we're going to have coming out. So stay tuned for that, and then pay attention to his 45 ACP.
Looks like the kid's going to be spending some serious time in the editing room.
I'm not looking forward to that, but it's got to happen.
It's got to happen. How about now? You spent a good amount of time with our friends at Excess Sights, fastest sights in any light, and they have some new products that they released and discussed this year.
They do. They've got the suppressor sights.
Suppressor height sights.
Suppressor height sights, yes.
Yeah. They don't go onto the suppressor. They actually go onto your gun.
Yeah, they go onto your gun so you can see when you have a suppressor on. And you can actually co-witness them through a red dot. Did you know that?
No, but I do now.
Yeah, they had the, I think it was an aim point on there, on a Glock.
An aim point? Really?
No, maybe it was I don't know what it was.
It's a mini red dot.
Yeah, it was a mini red dot.
Okay,
I don't remember what it was. But anyway, it was that. It was one of those. And they had it on their pistol with the suppressor there, and I got a bunch of B-roll of that, and we did some interviews with with Nikki Turpo, who is now the she does a couple different things for Access, actually, and I mentioned those on the video. So if you want to know what she does for them, then you can go there and look. But anyway, so we did some stuff about Access with Nikki, and then we also did some female, kind of like what we did with Julie. I did with Nikki, but on video.
Julie Gall, but women and guns and so forth.
So,
okay, cool.
because we've had a lot of questions from women, and I'm not a woman, so I don't really know what to say, but they do. And what else? John and Stephanie, I didn't get to spend a lot of time with them this year because they're busy. You know how they're you know how they are.
Hanging out, being rock stars.
Yeah. Actually, I saw them the first night I was there, I believe, or Sunday, and in the hotel room, or in the hotel, not in the hotel room. But I got to introduce them to Alex, and they're so nice. They're such nice people.
They are.
Yeah.
Now, the next one we're going to... Now, besides the Suppressor Height sights, do they have any other new products that they're pushing at the show? Or do you remember? Okay. That's kind of a big deal. Did you get the name of the game out of Stephanie?
No, I didn't get to...
we got.
I actually didn't even get to talk about that.
Okay.
I read through the email that you sent me afterwards, and I didn't get back to him.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, that's actually kind of a big deal. It is a very big deal, actually, because there's two things that are going on right now in the pistol game in America. This number one, using mini red dots on pistols, which is a big deal. Everybody knows, or you should know, that the G-Lock, that they finally introduced a pistol that you can mount a mini red dot on from the factory. They're calling it the G40, and Smith & Wesson's been doing it for a while now with their CORE, their core pistols that you can mount one of several different kinds of mini red dots on. We've been working with one here at Student of the Gun, and that's a big deal. And then, of course, using suppressors or silencers along with those. Speaking of which, did you get a chance to get over to SIG and talk to John Hollister?
Nope, didn't even get there.
You butthead.
I walked by the booth, and I didn't
that was
see
nice.
him, so
okay.
He might have been hiding.
Yeah. Now, how about Century Arms? Did you get into the Century Arms booth?
Yeah, I got into the booth, and I did a bunch of videos, but that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I got a bunch of B-roll of the stuff that they had. They had a pretty cool outdoor setup that...
With the RPK? Yeah, we put a picture of that up on Student of the Gun, the official Student of the Gun Facebook page. If you haven't been to that yet, you need to go over there and check that out.
Yeah, I got to talk to Jacob and Dina a little bit, but you know how it is there.
Mm-hmm.
Their booth was like packed full of people.
Imagine that. Because it's all ninja. And, all right, so there we go. We got SHOT Show in a nutshell. Now, we took care of business. We talked about all of our friends. And tell me this, is there anything else that you saw that stands out in your mind as something kind of unique or cool or different? Or
Yeah, the stuff from Wilder Tactical, he's got the new magazine holders.
Like
and
rifle
actually
magazines?
holster too. Yeah, it's pistol, rifle, and holsters. He's got different colored stuff, but they have like bungee on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so you could fit all sorts. You can get one holder, and you could fit all different kinds of sizes of mags in there. And then the holster, I think he said it works for like a Glock, a Smith & Wesson, and I'm not sure how that's going to work because it's not fitted specifically for
like a G17 or an M&P or a TP9 SA.
Yeah, they're all basically the same shape.
Yeah, they are. They're all, and that's the thing. Like with the TP9 SA, it's really super close to being like a Glock 17. It's not, but it's just like thousandths of an inch difference. And there are some Glock 17 holsters where a TP9 SA will fit, and then there are some where it won't.
Josh is the dude at Wilder Tactical, and he's actually got a new, if you're looking for a Kydex holster, he's got a new thing that he made, and he's like, here, put this on. So I put it on, and I sat down in a chair, and I haven't actually got to use it yet, but it seems like it's really comfortable. I didn't even really notice it was there.
Well,
but
very cool.
He's got the holster and the mag holders and all that stuff. So,
hey, guess what? Do you think that the zombie emergency response team guys listen to us? Oh, Zero. Zero, Zero. Oh, I thought it was Zert.
What's Zero?
Zero is the Zombie Emergency Response Operations. Now, all right, I'm going to throw this out there just because I can. We've got the Zert. How many of you guys out there in the Student of the Gun listening audience know about Zert? We ran into these dudes, or some of these dudes, at the range here about a month or two ago. They were at the range doing their thing, and they had their little shirts on and stuff. We were doing our thing, and we're like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? So if you guys are out there and you have a Zert organization anywhere near you, just send us a message or something.
Info at Student of the Gun.
Yeah, info at
Jared,
Student of the Gun.
Jarrad. Oh, speaking of that.
Oh, speaking of
the excess
that.
sites yesterday, I didn't tell them what to do. Did I?
No, you didn't. Oh,
Yeah,
well.
so
you think they're smart enough to
RPG
figure it out?
Well, maybe, but I'll say it in this episode anyway. RPG 0340. If you didn't already do it, I need you to send me your shirt size, your phone number, your email address. Include that typed in there. What else do they send me? Name, address, shirt size, phone number. I believe that's it. To Jarrad, Jarrad, at studentofthegun.com.
All right. Okay, are we done? Are you going to... Is that all you want to say about SHOT Show, or are we ready to move on? Or?
I think that's pretty much about it. I mean, I hung out with a lot of good friends, hung out with a lot of old friends, met some new ones.
Well, it is Wednesday, and we need to do a SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk tip. And I dropped this in there while we were gone into the show notes. And this was something that was sent to us, and somebody said, can you tell me what is the difference between fitness and tactical fitness? And I thought that'd be something you'd like to bite off, like to chew on. It says, essentially, it's just from military.com, which, if you don't know, is not owned by the United States military. It's a private company, but they just bought the domain name. What is the difference between tactical fitness and regular fitness? It says, during the past decade, a new fitness genre has been developed. I said the word genre. Fitness programming comes and goes over time, yada yada yada. I guess the big question is, and this link was sent to us by one of our fans, and they said, so what is the actual difference, or is there a difference, or is it all basically just smoke and mirrors?
I think that there's a difference.
Go ahead and
I'll tell you what I think the difference is.
Go ahead.
And I haven't read this article yet, so you can tell me if I'm
no.
on the same.
It's what you think, not what the article thinks.
Okay. Well, what I think is, tactical fitness, and it's funny, when I say tactical fitness, it makes me feel like I'm one of those people, like a CrossFitter or something, because tactical fitness. But anyway, I think tactical fitness is meant more for you do the workouts to be good at something that you would do in a job. Like, say, if you're in the military, you would do the fitness and you would cater it to be better at your job. Whereas just regular normal fitness, you're doing it to be good at working
just
out.
In general.
Doing it to be good at lifting weights or whatever, something stupid like that. Which, I mean,
it's not stupid.
It's not stupid, but there's no point behind it.
Right.
Tactical fitness, you have a point. You do that to get better at, and make sure you're fit, that you can take care of yourself, protect yourself, or do your job
The truth is,
better.
when you're using the English language, the word tactical doesn't really belong there. The word that belongs there is practical, because it has a practical application.
Yeah.
For instance, let's say if you're in the military, if you're a firefighter, let's go ahead and say that. Let's say you are a firefighter, and I don't know how often firefighters actually throw people over their shoulders and carry them out of burning buildings anymore. That used to be in all the movies and cartoons I watched as I was growing up. I don't know when the last time a firefighter threw someone over their shoulder and ran out of a burning building. Maybe it happens all the time. I don't know. But let's say you're a firefighter, and that's something that you know that you may have to do in your job, is to carry a downed person or another firefighter. And it's probably more likely that you're going to be carrying a fellow firefighter out of a building. Can I say fireman? Because when I say firefighter, there's just too many F's in there.
Yeah, say fireman.
Fireman. All right, so you're going to carry another fireman out of a building. So you're going to work out, and how are you going to do that? Well, how can we do that? We do that with dummies. You start out with a 100-pound dummy, a 150-pound dummy, a 200-pound dummy, and you practice putting the dummies over your shoulders. You practice the specific, downed man carry. We did that in the Marine Corps, where you had to pick up a guy and you had to run with him. And then you put him down, and then he picked you up and ran with you, and so forth. So that would actually be practical fitness, as opposed to, if I go into the gym and I stand in front of the mirror and I do curls, that's not going to really help me when it comes to lifting up a guy and carrying him out of a building on my shoulders. Am I off mark here, or do you think I'm off the mark?
No, I think you're right on. Too much going through my head.
Well, or another practical thing is for, practical tactical. Like, what fitness do I need to shoot a gun? I mean, it's obviously a physical activity.
Grip would be a good one.
Yeah,
for
strength.
Men and women. Grip strength.
Grip strength, forearm strength, hand strength. So if you want to be,
arm strength, because your arms can get tired
at shooting a gun.
Arm endurance.
You need to have some type of endurance. I mean, if you can't hold your hands out for 2 seconds without them shaking, then you're going to have a problem, obviously. But grip strength, and that kind of translates also to forearm strength or arm strength. So let's say you want to compete with guns. You want to be a super cool. You want to be the next Max Michel or Todd Jarrett or Rob Vogel, or you name it. You want to be that guy. Well, you probably should have a really strong grip. You need to have a good grip. You need to have physical dexterity. Your hands need to be dexterous, because you're manipulating the controls and reloading and doing all that jazz. So those are exercises or areas where you would work on, because let's face it, doing burpees is probably not going to help you shoot, right? I mean, it might give you some endurance and so forth, but if my goal is to manipulate a firearm in an efficient manner very rapidly, then, getting on a treadmill and running 10 miles is probably not what I need to be doing. What do you think?
No, I don't think so either. And on that subject, I know that he said you just gave running 10 miles as an example, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a little nugget here. When you do your workouts, instead of, like, if you run on the treadmill, instead of running for a longer period of time, kick up the intensity, because I don't really know how to.
No, go ahead.
I don't really know how to explain this, because I've never had to explain it out loud. But when you do more intense action for a short period of time, your body is actually benefiting from that, because, like, say you run 10 miles. Okay, that's going to be harder on your joints, harder on your tendons, etc. And if you do the higher intensity for a shorter amount of time, you're getting more out of that, and you're hurting your body less. Does that make sense?
Right, I got you. So now, would you recommend doing like an interval training, such as you walk for 5 minutes and then run for 5 minutes, then walk for 5 minutes and run for 5 minutes?
Yeah, but shorter. I would do
run for 2, walk for 2, run for 2.
No, well, I would do like a walk for 30 seconds and then, or walk for a minute and then sprint for a minute, or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
And then since we're talking about SWAT Fuel, and this is SWAT Fuel fitness tips or talk or whatever, I'm going to give a tip here. Take a multivitamin, and obviously SWAT Fuel has multivitamins. That's the 40 cal multivitamin, and the reason you take multivitamins is because you're giving your body what you don't normally get from your daily meals, what you don't get from your daily diet. And when you do that, you're hungry less, and you get the nutrients you need all around. Like when you're hungry, when your body craves food, it craves food because that certain food, like fish, for example, if your body craves fish, you need oil. And your body knows that the fish has the oils that your body needs. So that's why you crave that certain thing.
I was going to say that's why you have Brawndo.
Yeah, because it's got electrolytes, and it's what the body craves.
Yeah. So riddle me this, Batman, and this may be way out in left field, but you know how when you work out a lot, and let's say, you ever get that I really need a piece of chocolate moment?
That's because you need sugar. Your body's tired. You need sugar.
Your body's tired. You need sugar. I get the red meat cravings.
That's because you're a man.
Yeah, and that is true. I am a man. So. All right, kids, let's talk about some. We did the SWAT Fuel moment, and thank you very much, Jared, for that. The SWAT Fuel fitness talk.
I think I gave them a little bit more than they wanted, but
Probably, but
you can
that's
pause
cool.
it and rewind it and go over that a couple times.
Do you want your head to explode?
Let me gorilla tape mine real quick.
Okay. There's a new organization called American State Legislators for Gun Violence Prevention. Apparently, this is a new group of liberal do-gooder pieces of human filth and garbage that are calling themselves the American State Legislators for Gun Violence Prevention. And guess what they want to do? They want
Prevent
to,
gun violence, because that exists.
They want to push through more gun violence prevention by restricting the availability of guns. Okay, that's really cool. Thank you for that. Now, that leads us directly into something that was just like this was just dropped into the show notes like at this moment in time. And it comes to us from guns.com. It says, measure to ban kids under 12 from gun shows introduced. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, where would you go in the United States of America where you would have a legislator who would have the gall to introduce a bill that would prohibit kids, young people, from walking into a gun show? Not buying guns and ammunition or anything like that, but actually being present in a building where there are guns. Well, that would be the glorious People's Republic of New York. A New York lawmaker wants to prohibit minors under age 12 from being able to visit a gun show anywhere in the state, get this, in an effort to reduce gun violence. Jared, we should have put this in the bonus hour because I'm going to go off. It says, the bill introduced by State Assemblywoman.
There it is.
Here's your sign. State Assembly person Linda B. Rosenthal, a Democrat, this is my shock face, who represents the, quote, Hell's Kitchen area of Manhattan, would bar entry to preteen youths to the shows with no provision allowed for those with a supervised adult. Well, here's the deal, retards who live in New York. Children don't go unaccompanied to gun shows. Do these morons actually think that, like, 11-year-olds are getting up and like, hey, Billy, what do you want to do? Let's go to the gun show, Billy. You got your money? Yeah, let's go. No, they go with their parents. Jared, remember me taking you to gun shows when you were like 5 years old? And I give you a $5 bill and you could buy. You always got $5.
Yeah, and I could go buy a gun with it,
Yeah. No, well, because people at gun shows are always selling like trinkets and souvenirs.
Yeah,
and
there's
stuff like
actually
that.
more than guns and accessories.
But anyway, oh my Lord, you want a quote from Ms. Rosenblumenthal here?
No, not really.
I'm going to give you one anyway. It says, as the gun industry prepares a public campaign to broaden the appeal of guns, it is, I don't know what that even means. It is important that we establish reasonable age limits for admission to gun shows by children, reads a memo Rosenthal wrote for her legislation. Hey, all you hipsters out there in the student of the gun listening audience, all you hip cats, do you know what it's not a TLA, because a TLA is a 3-letter acronym, and FLA would be a 4-letter acronym. There's a 4-letter acronym that I like to drop into stories like this, and it's one of those things where it's not really a bad word because it's just an acronym, and the only time you could be quote-unquote offended by it is if you knew what that acronym was. And if you knew what that acronym was already, then I'm not telling you. But that acronym, and this is what I would like to say to Miss Linda B. Rosenthal Bloom here, is Foxtrot, Oscar, Alpha, Delta, and that's all. So Foxtrot, Oscar, Alpha, Delta, Ms. Rosenblumenthal.
She's a Ms. for a reason.
Yeah. By the way, her bill is A, Assembly Bill 967. And blah, 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 would add a simple 19-word sentence to New York state laws that would effectively place gun shows off limits to those under age 12. Yada, yada, yada. Go forth and venture for. I suppose venture forward and fornicate with thyself would be okay because that is a correct use of the English language.
Yes.
She is hereby invited to venture forward and fornicate with herself.
Cool.
So there you go. All right, what else we got to talk about before we put the cork in this one, Jack?
Do you have a short story that you can talk about?
I have a short story.
Once
upon a time.
Yeah, we're on 41 minutes, so we could either cut it now or.
Oh, we don't want to cut it off yet. Once upon a time, the end. I don't know. I got one for you, Jared. This is, since we're kind of on like a chicks type of deal here, one of our fans sent us this link. Actually, multiple fans sent us this link, and it's for in Instructables.com. Apparently, Instructables is this website where people have ideas and they put them out there, kind of like GoFundMe or what have you. And they have an idea for a product, and they want you to like it and help them make it a reality. Anti-rape gloves. Have you heard of these, Jared?
No, I have not.
Yes. According to the story here, this person on Instructables.id has invented a tool called anti-rape gloves. Essentially, what they are is they're like fingerless lifting gloves. You know, the weightlifting gloves that have like a thick palm, but they have open fingers. What this dude has done is he's taken fingerless weightlifting gloves and he's put a couple of sharpened spikes into the palm.
Which means that...
And this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to buy them and give them to your teenage daughters or wives or moms or whomever, and they're supposed to walk around or jog around or something around with these gloves on. And then if a bad person attacks them, then they're supposed to claw them.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What if the bad person wraps both of his arms and pins their arms to their side?
Oh, that wouldn't happen.
So basically they still have to get within arm's distance, and most women have shorter arms than men.
And they have to use physical force against them. Apparently, and what are you going to do the first time that you scratch yourself with these things?
Well, maybe they didn't want to carry a gun while jogging because they would look stupid.
Yeah, that is true. Well, this is the little video is actually this little girl, like it's like she's walking home from school. She has her little backpack on, and a bad man comes up, and she does a bunch of ninja moves, whack, 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 and attacks him with this. Folks, and somebody, some people are like, initially they're like, oh, that's a great idea. It's a freaking stupid idea. Here's why it's a stupid idea. Number one, you're going to give these to a woman, and she's going to say, they don't match my outfit. I'm not going to wear them. Or she's going to say they look silly, I'm not going to wear them. Or she's going to wear them one time, then she's going to scratch herself or scrape herself with them, and she's going to say, that's enough of that, I'm not going to do that anymore. It's silly, ridiculous half measures that people who are afraid of guns come up with so they don't actually have to nut up and have a gun. You know what they have? If you want to carry something, these ninja gloves with the spikes coming out of the palms, just carry a knife. It's a utility tool, and if a bad person grabs you, you can open the blade and you can cut them with it. Oh, we can't do that. All right, whatever. But yeah, stop it with your silly half measures. They're ridiculous, and you're going to hurt yourself. Just maybe they could go to India and they can buy one of those spiked anti-rape traps that they put in their special place.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Oh, kids, I can't believe it. We're all the way to the end of the show already. But don't fear. Today's Wednesday. Tomorrow will be Thursday. And Jared and I will be back.
And if you're part of the grad program, you get one on Friday as well.
That's right. If you're a grad program member, you get one on Friday. And if you're like, I don't know how to do that.
Is Friday the 1st?
No. It's like the 31st, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so it'll be the next week that they get the...
Yeah, it'll be the next
week.
Okay. It's still January on Friday.
Wow.
All right. Now that we've figured out our calendar, Remember, you're a beginner once. You should be a what? A student for life.